Hi, I'm Kali, and we're gonna make this together today. If you've never made a wreath from a garland, you can. We're gonna take this long garland and cut it up into pieces and help us get the foundation for a killer wreath. All right, let's get started. So the first thing I want to tell you, today's wreath is going to be on a large wreath base because we want to make this big and impactful. We are going to need to prep this garland first, so I'm going to cut this up into smaller pieces so we can get it going and put it on here. So what I want to do is find sections that I can work with on a garland when I'm cutting it up to use in a wreath. So on here, I think it works pretty good to have one big flower and two smaller together when I get to this section. So I'm just going to start by cutting that off, and I'll leave these leaves below. So I think that's a great section to start with. Now what you want to do is we're going to tie enough collate as we're cutting so we know what's going in each section. So I'm going to put that one there. This one has some larger flowers like a hydrangea and a peony. So we're going to keep these just completely separated until we get down to repeat that same section we did before, which has a dahlia and two smaller floral heads, like a little bit of hydrangea and a little bit of another peony or a ranunculus. See the combo right there? Ranunculus between the three. So that'll stay as its own because that matches this other combo we did. And now take off the bigger bloom. So when you use this garland, it has a nice little pattern to go by to create an easy flow. And this one, we'll take these two together. And if it has two wires here, you just cut them separately. Okay. And this one we'll leave, except we'll take that one big peony off. So, you know, do what pattern you want to do, but I think it works really easy to separate it just like that. Now that we have our garland prepped, our next move is I want to go ahead and get some greenery in before we even start anything with this design. So in order to do that, I want you to grab your fishtail fern and we're going to put it in first. This is our cream green color, and this is exclusive to Cleves.com. I love this, the whole look of this one because it's painted so pretty. I'm going to push these up a little. We still want them long and wispy because that's going to provide a great base for this design. I'm going to take and trim these down off of here. And as I'm doing this, let me know how your week's been going. What are you up to? What have you been creating? Because I bet you've been making something beautiful. I hope you're making something for you. Now I'm going to kind of stack these to get some good placement. Let's start with our first one. Up here to the right, I'm just going to press it in. Now if I have a lot of glue, you're going to see me grab Spanish moss to hide my glue. That's a technique I use and I have for years in order to help stabilize the placement and cover the glue. So you're going to see me do that. So I'm going to get my first three pieces in here. I'm just kind of working the outside and then I'll work the inside too and get some separation. I'll come back to the center. And we just want some greenery that's coming out of the background and not just all in the foreground. Look how pretty that is. And I like to give these a little bit of movement. Like, get that working for you. You've got a beautiful base in there that you can manipulate the wires from. Okay, I just moved it up a little because we're going to come down to the bottom and work on the bottom for the greenery for a second. And I'm going to do the same thing down here. Start putting these bottom pieces in, and I'm going to have them kind of curve around too. I love that we could take and just manipulate those wires. All right. Sit up pretty, baby. Oh, I love when that's looking good like that. Let's come back to the center. And we just mirrored what we did on the top. So we've got a great start to our design. And that's what we call green in the base. Simple, we got some background greenery. We got to kind of layer up our layers so we get that great depth. And that's something we work on design school all the time, creating that really depth and layering. And that's what we're doing a little bit of today. So the next step is we want to get all those big flowers in because they're going to take up the most real estate. So they're coming in next. Now we're going to have a bow right in this area. I call this the bow zone. We're going to leave the bow zone empty for our bow right in the middle. And you can always shift that on your designs however you want. But I'm going to put it right in the center. Now I want you to start with your dahlias. You have two of the big dahlia sprays. We want to put those in first. So take and think about how their leaves are going to work and where they're going to go. This is kind of a larger one, so it's going to lend itself to work at the bottom a little easier than the top. So I'm going to have it go right here, and it'll come right out from under the bow zone. So let me bring this up a little, and we'll work on that bottom part right there. Okay, so I'm going to give that a little swirl, and we'll just have that come down. That works well down here. That way the bow can be in the middle, and this will come down. All right, and I'm going to give that a little bend. Oh, that's pretty. And feel free to manipulate these so they have a little depth. I want you to see how far I'm coming off the wreath already. Like, you don't want it to be flat. You want it to move forward. I'm going to do the same thing up here on the top. I'm going to use that other bigger spray with the pretty dahlia. Spread that all out. And now I'm going to come up a little higher. So we've got great placement. All right. Now I'm going to spread those leaves out. Make sure that's going in and nice and tight. And these hydrangeas even have wires, so, you know, move them around. Move them in and out. Use that wire how you want it. Okay, now it's hydrangea time. So we have a couple of hydrangeas that are independent, and those would be really pretty, just kind of tucked in close to our zinnias, or dahlias. Actually, these are dahlias, I think. They're big. So let's go right beside them. Yeah, oh, that pretty pink. Just turn those leaves around. We always want our leaves facing forward because they're so pretty. Okay, one more down here, and we'll work opposite. So you can see out of this garland, if you wanted to go a little bit smaller on the designs, you could get 2 wreaths out of it for sure, because these are beautiful big heads, and I personally love that. Look how lush it's looking. We haven't even put all the layers in, but look at this. Oh my gosh. We got those in. It's feeling nice and full. What I want to do now is get my bright pink peonies in and let them get in here. They want to be a star of the show too. So I'm going to take one and put it up above the bow up here, kind of tucked in. So you want to have that garden feel where everybody's kind of really tucked in tight, and the big heads are together here. Okay, we're going to put some wispiness in a second, but I really want that pop of pink to work up here, and then we're going to use one more pop of pink down at the bottom because it's a little bit brighter, and that way those can work opposite. And we still have some more larger florals to put in, but I'm going to hold those aside right now, and we're going to go ahead and we need to do our bow. Now, we've done our bow on another video, but we'll attach the link here, or you can ask for it in the comments if you don't see it. We're going to put the bow in now, but we've already magically made it on another video. So, haha, the bow is here. And the bow is going to pop here right in the center. And remember, we left that bow zone open so we could go right into it and work it into our design. So that's what I'm about to do right now. I'm going to attach my cable tie in here. So this is going to take up this real estate in here. We have all the large floral heads in, and then we're going to come back and add all of our other beautiful garden inspired greeneries and twigs and florals that are coming in next. Okay, so I'm trimming off this. Now you've got to get rid of the end piece of that cable tie once it's on. Now fluff it up, make it look so cute. Isn't that great? Now, take the tails. We have to kind of boss them around. They're kind of all tucked over here. And I want them to kind of be equal. I want some on the right, some on the left. So just kind of pull them out. I know I've got 3 on each side. So these can hang down pretty on this side. Look how sweet. This is just a sweet wreath. I'm loving it. And these can go on this side and kind of work in through the florals. That's fine too. They can just wiggle around or curl up in here. I'll just take and give it a little twist. This one too. And that way they're kind of layered in there. Ooh, that's pretty. And I want to show you what we got to go. Oh, yeah. Beautiful. We're not even done yet. We're just starting. We're just getting going. Okay, our next step is we're going to put in our Queen Anne's lace. It's very showy and flamboyant, so it's going in next. This is going to add a bit of white to it and a little bit of drama. So on this one, I usually pull up the greenery up by the head because it kind of keeps that head in check. So pull all that up, and then we will take and we'll trim this one down. All right. Now you want to keep these fairly long because we want to make sure they can reach out past these other bigger, longer heads. So I need them long, okay? This is my other 2 florals. See, I still have some florals left. We haven't even put in yet. We're going to use them in a minute. So I want you to stack these in 2s. So if you do that, you should have 3 clusters of 2 and 1 single. And I want you to go, when you stack them, go 1 high, 1 low, so you get some spacing, and trim that stem down, okay? And now I'm going to start off with 1 up high up here because I think that would be really pretty to get a little of my white in above the bow. So I'm going to go way up high. And we're going to kind of get it set, the glue get set up for a second, and then we'll come back and we're going to manipulate those heads just a little bit. But I'm going to let it set up. This is another one. Now, a couple of these heads are really big, so let's take one of these and let it just be on its own. Matter of fact, we can have these 2 be together and keep those 3 big ones on their own. So 1 high, 1 low. And then we're going to put this one, let's just put it opposite low. All right. In design school, I'll talk about placement and lines and what we're doing there. And we're going to kind of try to do the same aspect here when we're working with this design. We still want it to be very dramatic in the way we're creating the lines. It's really important to me. So I'm going to have these 2 come down here way low. Can you see them? They're coming down way low in the picture. Let me see if I can open the camera a little bit. There we go. See them all the way down there? Beautiful. We're going to let them set up for a second. And now these, I'm going to use 1 right here at the base of the bow. So I'm going to give that a bit of a bend. And we're going to get a good amount of glue on it and just put it right in here at the bow. Oh, I love that. Come in here, buddy. All right, tuck it on in. Yes, right. Oh, that's so pretty and lush. Just love the way these are big in here too. So right now we have 3 pieces working. We're going to escalate that to 5. So let me work one right below the bow too here. So this one comes below the bow. So I'm going to give it a movement, a little curve up. And you're going to go down here in the bottom. Get a lot of glue on that stem if you can. Like a little bit is not going to do it. Need a lot on there. Tuck this in below, and definitely use Spanish moss if you need to hold it in place, or you just want to cover the mechanics. You need a combo of both, okay? All right. Oh, that looks great there. So 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to put my last one up at the top over here on the right side, kind of tucked in, maybe right in there. So I want it to reach up and kind of curve out. So I give it a little bit of a curve right there. All right, let's hit it to the right. These are just so pretty. Okay, and I'm gonna go right in here. I've got a nice tight spot in the wreath. I can put it, oh, perfect. Ooh, that looks good. And see how full and how lush that look. Oh, you see what a difference that made? It really created like a depth and a little bit of movement, but we're not done yet. Okay, grab the bigger flowers you have left in your garland. We're going to work those in the empty holes, and then it's time for the twigs and the greenery and the little bit of berries we're going to put in. So any bigger blooms, I want you to take and trim them to where their stem's a little shorter. So I'm going to do that right now here with this one and get this all on one stem. Okay, like this. And then I'm going to tuck this into the bow down here. And that means I'm going to actually tear this, and I'm going to make this into a shorter stem too. And sometimes when I do that, I just twist it a little so I get a nice little shorter piece. Twist it, and let's go at the bottom. All right, let's go right in here, and I'm going to kind of go to the outside. Just find a good spot you can tuck that into the grapevine. And I want to be able to just tuck that under the bow right here and make it nice and full on the edge. That's so pretty too. I get so excited. All right, so that really made it nice and full through there. And then I have a couple of other pieces up here that I think would look just great up in the top. So we're going to do the same thing up there and leave this all as one cluster and let that come over the top. So I'm just giving that a little swirl in the glue pot. If you see me doing like this, I'm just getting the glue string before it gets loose. So I'm going to put this up here too, so we have just a couple of these hydrangeas together and another ranunculus. Ooh, ooh, look. Ooh, it's lush. It's lush, it's loaded, but no, we're not done yet. There's more. Now I want you to grab our pink berries. These are beautifully frosted berries, and we got this beautiful frosted greenery. And I want you to take and just tear this bush down. So you get several pieces here. 1, 2, 3 nice big clusters. And then we're going to use this in here, kind of in between the greeneries we put in earlier. We have a greenery there and a greenery there, and we're going to go in between. But I want you to have it in the foreground instead of the background. Like, bring it forward. All right, I hope you're enjoying this video today. I'm trying to give you some tips and tricks to encourage you to want to dive deeper into floral design. So see, that worked in between, but more in the foreground. Okay, my greeneries down here at the bottom are right here and right here. And we're going to go between those the same way. So I'm going to cut this pretty long because I got to be able to reach out between those. But that's okay. We got a long wire on here. I'm going to load it with glue. Give it a swirl, and then I'm going to come down here between these greeneries and just push that into that grapevine. I want it to hold way back there. Yes. Woo! Hot! Hot! Sometimes you get a little bit too close to the fire. Now, this one I want a little bit underneath. I got to pull it more forward. There we go. Because I want it more in the foreground. Even though I try to burn my finger up. There we go. Perfect. Back and front, and I'm still kind of working that line. I love when we're working a line. Now, let's have one more piece of my berry kind of at the top. Okay, and I like it to scoop over a little bit to the right. I think that would be really pretty. Man, this is turning out so pretty. So take this, manipulate it, and we're going to have it kick out to the right. And you can keep adding more berry if you want to, but I think I like these 3 pieces right here. Coming out to the right. Oh, gorgeous. I'm just going to bring it to the foreground again. So pull that leaf behind. So these big leaves, I like them because they cover up a lot of space and they've got that really pretty green, but I don't want them to hide the good stuff. Like, I need them to let my good stuff show too. So wiggle them around to the back if you need to. All right. Now, we didn't get to manipulate the some of these Queen Anne's lace. So I want you to just give them a little bend now that they're set up. Like, have them kind of come forward just a little. Ooh. See that? Just have it move forward just a little. Same thing here. Come forward just a little, buddy. And down here, I'm going to do that same thing. We're going to move that greenery to the back. Just give it a wiggle and have these kick up. That's so pretty. I love that. Okay, now grab your fishtail fern. Now it's time for us to bring fern to the foreground. Like, the greenery from the back needs to come to the front to add that wispiness. So this time I'm going to push them up a little bit, about halfway. And then I want you to cut them long, though, because we still have to get behind everything, okay? So I'm going to take and trim these off, and we'll cut this whole bush down. And don't worry if your bow gets a little crinkled while you're working. That's totally normal. We'll fluff it again when we get to the end and we take pictures before we list it to sell it. We want to make sure we get it nice and finished. All right, now I want you to come in, and we're going to use these in 2s, and we're going to kind of redefine our perimeter one more time. So we added a little berries out here, and I want to go right beside these and layer this on top of this leaves. Whoops. Don't get your hydrangeas. Come out here and make sure you're going into the wreath, not outside. See, one's a little longer, one's a little shorter, really important. Okay, let's redefine our boundary too here at the bottom, our perimeter. We need to kick that up a little. So I'm going to take 2. One will be longer, one will be shorter. And I said I want to kick it up, so get them kicked up. Pull this up a little. And so they're going to sit like this when we put them in here down at the bottom. I want to trim them the same length though, so they're easy to maneuver when I put them in. And I love that. So, in this design, we're not going to use a whole lot of twigs, just some added in there. But the neat thing is when you use the fern like this, it kind of works like a twig. Okay, if it wiggles around, I want you to go in there and add some Spanish moss because it needs something to hold it a little tighter in its spot. So my moss is going to go in here, and I'm going to go in where this glue is, and this little booger is going to sit up just like I wanted it to. See? Oh my gosh, can you see how pretty? Oh y'all, it's loaded with goodness. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, fern there. We need a little bit of fern in by, we got a good perimeter there, but I need a little bit more in the foreground in this area. So I'm going to do the same thing, but now I'm going to use them individually, and we're going to give that a little scoop. And I'll put that in down here. Let's go in right above the berries that tried to burn me. How about right there? That looks great. Make sure you just keep fluffing out that bow every time you squish it. One more here to the outside of the bow, so I'm going to give that a wiggle. And go in here. Oh, I love this, y'all. I hope you're enjoying as much as I am. I love creating these with you. And one of my greatest joys is teaching design school every week. New principles, tips, techniques, design principles, bows. Oh, it's a blast. Now I'm going to come above the bow, and we're going to go right in here. I grab my ribbon a little bit, but if you get your ribbon with glue, don't worry, you can always take and let it dry, and then you can pull it off. It'll come off. And I have one more, and this one I'm going to kind of work right here between these. But you see how we add a little softness when we layered that greenery in. Okay, that means we're getting to one of my favorite parts, and that is the twig time. Yeah. Are you ready? Let me show you. We're going to put our twigs in. I've got two nice, these are such delicate twigs, and I love these. So they're not too over the top. They go really good with this feminine look. So let's bring our twigs in. Now, I like to take my twigs and give them some love, so I'm going to curl them up and take just a few seconds to like give them a little attention. Not everybody's got to be curled, but some of them do. And I am going to take and curl this one. There's glue on my finger. So I tried to glue myself. See how pretty I made it? I just took just a second to love on it. Now, I'm going to use this as a full stem because I really want the length. And what I want to do is just kind of reposition it because this one's going to go up above the transition up here. And I'm going to let these guys have some fun. You see how much fun they're having? That's what we're looking for, okay? Leave it long. Cut this about 6 inches long so we can get behind everything in here. And this one's going to go at the top. This is easy peasy twigs. I loaded it with glue and we're coming in at the top. Oh, so pretty. And I'm going to tuck that right in there. It's going to go, oh yeah. So I want this to kind of reach out and over. And that really mimics the lines we had going, and it works with the berries. See how pretty that is in there? Oh, now, same thing on the bottom. Okay, we're going to work on the bottom. So when we get ready to shake hands with this one, we're going to be thinking, okay, it's coming from the bottom, so how's that going to look? Ooh, it's going to flip around and it's going to pop up too. Because we want a really good C shape in this design, that's what we're going to get when we put it all together pretty. Okay, I got it curled. You can do as much or as little, and once you get it in, you can even play with it more. Okay, see how much I've manipulated it? Now we're going to put that in the bottom. I'm going to load that with glue. I've trimmed it off. I got a good amount of glue on there because these are going to stick out really far. Now make a little pathway. We're going to go into the grapevine. Watch your big flat leaves in the back because they are, we moved them around. This needs to go over, but you can, these are wired. They're so fun and easy to work with, and I can have that kind of come out of the bow maybe and then curve over just a little bit. And maybe come up a little higher with this one. And what you want to do is once you get it on your front door, if you are making these to just use in your home, then you just want to get it on your front door and kind of position your ribbons how you want them, curl them, or let them hang straight. We can hang this just straight up and down like we've been designing it, but you can see it can manipulate different ways. We can let it cascade like this, hang it like this. Very beautiful. You have got lots of options. Can you believe we made this together? It didn't take that long, and we built it up step by step. Come join us in design school. I can't wait to see you on the inside.